Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Console Gaming League Multi-Tier Tournament NA Masters Tier Finals. You have the Throne Knights charging into battle against N7. I am Corbeck, joined here by Skate Action with Sultan on the production, and we have an exciting match. One of the highlights, I think, of our finals calendar coming up for you. Skate, what can you tell me about these teams?
Well, I can tell you this much, Corbeck. Both teams finished the season 7-2. The Knights, though, having the 20 map wins gives them the slight edge and the 3 seed versus N7's 18 wins, which earns them the 4 seed. I can also tell you that these two teams did play in the regular season. They played 9 games, and in week 4, they played to a 2-1 N7 win. So I guess those that are handicapping at home, slight edge to N7 there as they took the early season win.
Yes, we've been informed that the bookies in Las Vegas have already taken that into account, Skate, coming up with their odds for tonight's game, though we're not officially allowed to endorse gambling on stream. Just kidding. Anyway, could you imagine? Anyway, let's take a quick look at the lineups here. We have exciting new graphics for you. You can see all the interesting members of the team here. Looking at, I think, the Throne Knights first, if I am correct. Fish-Face Gecko will be on tank, 20 years old, from the city of Leicester. Kurta playing the Zarya DPS, a little bit of Diva as well, age 18, from the fine city of Pennsylvania. Every state is a city. Defente, 18 years old as well, coming in to us from Florida. Amor, 17, from Chattanooga. Toxic Snipes, 18 years old, from Manchester. Finally, Killer Dogs, team captain, co-owner of the Throne, age 19, coming at us from Buffalo. Worth pointing out, quite a multinational team here, Skate, actually. Someone from Leicester and someone from Manchester slotting into lineups, too. It's probably really early in the morning for them right now, actually, funny enough.
It really is. I mean, you're talking 1-2 a.m. right now for them, so cheers to them to make it to the game here and be able to play at that time, because I know I would be a zombie at this point in my old age.
Yeah, indeed. A couple former members of the Buffalo Banditos in there as well. The champions of Vente says champions of Overwatch League. That was a long time ago. Season 1. Of course, last CGL season, Buffalo Banditos did really quite well. I think they placed second place in their tier. It's actually mentioned in Killer Dog's profile there. So, you know, a solid squad, veteran players, people who have been in the scene for a while. And meanwhile, if we flip over to N7, you can get a look at them as well. We've got Kaz Nebula, 18 years old, from Austin, Texas. He'll be playing tanks here. Looks like main tank mostly. Kyle Gunner, who many people have seen. They know the diva play from the fine city of Virginia. I do believe that's I don't even believe that's a state, Skate.
Yeah, I'm going to say that's a state.
And let's take a minute to appreciate Kyle's bio here. I can make my enemies think I'm a low Masters Diva 1 trick, but really, I'm a mid Masters Diva 1 trick.
That's mind games right there. That's deep-seated mind games. I like it.
You got to get in their heads. Real Dougie, age 20, from Michigan, will be playing supports. Buzz the Savage, age 19, from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, coming over on tanks. And then finally, Coriander, 19 years old, from Austin. And Coriander, I think you know Skate. You've played together before.
Yeah, we actually played for the first time together at the South by Southwest Overwatch Open PC tournament, where we did take first place. So go Team CGL, and I'm curious to see how Coriander plays on that Zarya this evening.
Well, obviously, some standout names here, some people who have made their mark coming in through the Masters tier, and both these teams obviously have fought very hard to get here, like you said, Skate. Neither one of them was the second seed in the division. They've beat their betters or managed to triumph over their betters to get here as we prepare for this final. And I think our first map tonight is going to be Route 66. And Skate, knowing what you do about these teams, what do you think we'll expect to see here going into Route 66?
Route 66, I think, is a map where you can see a little bit of the 3-3 action, the goats, but I think we may also see a little hint of the triple DPS that has become so popular lately with the 2 healers and the Hammond. I do know that one of these teams may be partial to a Bastion as well, so keep an eye out for that. Everybody loves a good Bastion.
Do they?
Everybody does.
Everybody does. As we take a look here at Route 66, the majestic canyon Still trying to figure out where that canyon is because it actually makes the Grand Canyon look a bit small, if I'm being honest. Majestic...
I have no idea where it is.
No, neither do I. It's majestic tourist sites, Big Earl's Garage, of course, and that diner that never seems to have anybody in it, with terrible coffee, if McCree is to be believed. So they come in here and set up for their team picks. We already have a bit of an idea of what heroes are going to run. It's like one side will be bringing us, that will be the Throne Knights, bringing us just a straight Zen Goats out the door. Meanwhile, on the other side, opting, as you said, Skate, quite accurately as well. Oh, never mind. I thought we were going to see the 3 DPS, but no, the old debate.
I can't punch that ticket in Vegas, so I thought I had it. I thought it was a parlay and I was going to nail it, but apparently not.
We'll take over-unders instead. Looks like they're making some switches here, going with the Ana Lucio on the attack as the healing duo. An interesting setup. A lot of pressure probably on Proxy there, Skate, to get those hacks off, really make impactful EMPs to open up Dark Empathy as we get started here. Just realized I don't have my sound up, which is going to be a bit of a problem in-game, but I will try my best. Moving directly onto the point, but it's an early ambush from the Throne, dropping in behind. Looking for the early pick. There it is. 2 odd, caught in the back line, brought down almost immediately. That being said, they're answering back. Dark Empathy popping off right now on the Hanzo. Gets 2 cleaning up here. Fishface Gecko in a lot of trouble with that Hanzo. Will go down. Kurt is still alive. Zergy's still up as well. They're both trying to back up. And Kyle Gunner has disconnected. I'm sure he'll come back. He's not playing in the starting lineup, so not much of a problem there.
Yeah, Dark Empathy just gets right on the point and, up in the face of the Thrones and was able to get 2 or 3 picks right there early and just seal that fight early on.
Yeah, sort of hoisted by their own petard. There's Gate coming off on that early attack. Sometimes that strategy works very well. I know you and I have actually had that run against us before, much to our frustration. Here they are engaging again, though. Kurt on the high ground on top of the gas station trying to put damage in. Dark Empathy up there almost immediately to pressure them off, but Kaz Nebula going down early. That's a huge pick on the Reinhardt to initiate here. They're splitting them apart now. Coriander in serious danger, getting gooped around, manages to come back. Lucio playing very far forward. That's Dougie. And the kills again, flying in fast and furious. 2 odd going down, though. Dark Empathy still here, alive in the back line, trying to maybe get an opportunistic DMAC on the Diva there. Will make a half-hearted attempt to get back to the team, but won't quite get there.
Yeah, Kaz was able to get in and get a pin on Fishface Gecko to start that fight, but Fishface Gecko had the bubble of Kurta there, and it just was too deep, and the early pick just swung that fight before it even started.
Well, here they come again. Kaz immediately under pressure. Bubble will be used just to release some damage from Kurta there off of him. The shield going down now. Coriander pushes up very aggressively, trying to gain charge. Huge EMP, though. Hits multiple members, but it doesn't get Hibachi. Hibachi drops the sound barrier there. That might help his team through this. Tefenti did go down because of the Sombra, but they're still fighting. Grab comes in, only gets 2. They got to follow up. There's really no damage. Kaz had to keep his shield up. He couldn't keep swinging. Dark Empathy is down. The DMAC came in the midst of that. The EMP or the Nano was thrown out. Big shatter on Kaz. Still, again, finally, Kaz is down. Fishface Gecko, both Reinhardts traded. They're going back and forth here. 2 odd dancing around in the corner, trapped all alone. No support, no backup will be brought down. The only person left alive is Coriander, who pops 1. The Zarya still up, still trying to fight this out. Coriander doesn't want to disengage.
No, I don't think Coriander can disengage. I think just in a bad spot here, trying to get out. Hopefully a support can come back and pick him up, and that's exactly what happened. Oh, just short on time, right as I said it. Real Dougie.
Almost what happens. Almost what happens.
So close.
Dougie came up there. Yeah, tried to get him out, but unfortunately it's a little too late, and that's a huge stagger there, Skate. They're going to have to wait for their Zarya to come back online before they can really make a push, and they're not close to grab again either.
Yeah, Killer Dogs was able to get up in front line, essentially, as the Brigitte there, and I don't know if the fans at home, know much about Killer Dogs, but he does play a lot of Reinhardt, so he knows how to front line, and it paid off there.
Well, here they are pushing up again. Diva Bomb over the top, rather opportunistic, doesn't find anyone. Kaz's shield takes a little bit of damage. Fishface with the charge in, finds no one. Anti-nated. Fishface Gecko in a lot of danger. Somehow they turn it around. Nebula goes down. The sound barrier comes in just to keep, I think, Reinhardt up, and they'll push forward. Fishface Gecko swinging for the faces there, just clearing the deck. Why doesn't he add Dark Empathy to it as well?
Yeah, Kaz is unfortunately for N7 just falling early, and the whole lineup is just crumbling around it. They got to find a way to protect Kaz and keep him up in order to keep these pushes going.
Somehow they turn it around. Yeah, it's obviously so critical in these compositions to keep your Reinhardt alive, especially in the GOATS format, if you want to really get the push forward. And again, Kaz taking a little bit of early pressure there. Coriander again charging the bubble damage. They're trying to get it up. Kurta is forced off the high ground rather early. Good anti-nade in. Grab hitting him up in the air. Tefente actually has to come forward with the Transcendence. Dragons release point blank. Tefente might die. No, they managed to survive. The Shatter in the Nano as well. They'll burn through Kaz. Killfleet lighting up solid blue. There's really nothing they can do about it. Dougie comes in for the touch and is immediately burned down. And that will seal it out. So no, nothing going there, Skate.
Yeah, big defense there by the Throne. You know, they got greedy and went for that spawn camp style defense, and it didn't pay off, but you saw how quickly they were able to still get back and contest at that first corner around Big Earls there. So a very, very impressive defense to start this thing off for the Throne Knights.
Yeah, they cannot be unhappy with that. I would think Skate a good, literally a first point hold, as it were. It's a lot of ground, I think, for the defenders to make up. I don't think it's impossible, though, Skate. I think you can do this.
Yeah, I've seen plenty of games where it's been held there at the at that first corner. And Kyle Gunner did actually reconnect there, so we will get him set on the appropriate team here.
All right, it's got Kyle Gunner coming back in. We're just going to have to pop him over as we get ready to get started here. I still don't have game sound, but we're making it work.
Yeah, it's okay.
Couldn't hear any of those alts. Just got to rely on them visually. That's fine. Luckily, when that Nano goes in, it just lights them up like a Christmas tree, so everybody knows who to shoot.
Yeah, the Nano's the easiest one to see.
Yeah, looks like they will be coming out here with the Baptiste bunker on the defense 2-odd with the Ana. Dougie making the swap over there to the Baptiste, and Proxy will be doing the Bastion duties for us here. Meanwhile, on the other side, a sort of 2-2-2 composition with a healing duo we haven't seen in, I would say, quite some time. That's Lucio Zen.
A 2-2-2? What is that?
Yeah,
I thought
exactly.
This was Overwatch.
Right?
I'm confused.
Yeah, if you add all those numbers up, they equal 6. Anyway, I know. So yeah, a pretty decent composition choice coming out.
Yeah, full bunker on the side of N7, so we'll have to see how well that 2-2 can break that bunker.
Well, I think a lot of this playing for the EMP here. Fishface Gecko firing rather opportunistic fire strike there across the top. Of course, the Bastion on top of the garage, classic sort of high ground defense. I think Somber's already sneaking around on the backside. The cart, though, is just moving forward right now. Nobody wants to drop down to contest. Finally, Coriander will come down. Immortality Field is used. Zen goes down early. That's a big pick. Hibachi following him to the grave, so that's both supports there out for the Knights already. Zergi kind of there. The off-tank / off support goes down, and then Kaz Nebula just casually cleaning up. So Roadhog doing his job, contesting the point and driving off the attackers.
Yeah, worth noting, Kurta able to get the pick on 2-odd, so spawn advantage a little bit in the favor of Throne Knight, so if they can get a quick regroup here, they may be able to get another push in before 2-odd can get back on that Ana.
That would be huge, considering that the Ana is the key source of healing.
Oh, Ana's hacked in the back line.
Ana getting spawn camped in the back line will be kept up, though. Good peel from the team. A weird rotate around here, dropping in under gas station, coming out of the tunnel there. That was a smart maneuver from the Knights. They're trying to push it forward. Defense amplification Memphis comes in, but I don't know what to really follow up there is. Immortality Field goes down. Somehow Dougie gets the nano boost in here. Dragons will be thrown in as well, so Zergi finally goes down. Tefente tries to claw it back, will not do so. Fishface Gecko now having to rotate around the outside. Coriander pressuring them a lot, though. It's really just Hibachi and Kurta, and the two of them kind of need to die here unless they can really make something out of this opportunity. And I don't know that they can. Killer Dog's hiding in the backline on the Sombra, doesn't want to engage, but looking at those ultimate banks, Skate, I think we're going to be seeing a certain ultimate that starts with E on the next push.
Yeah, and we probably will see it followed up by one that starts with a G if I'm not too keen on that. But yeah, that was a bit of a sloppy fight. It was kind of all over the place. Ended up around the backside of Big Rolls, and the payload never came into play.
It did not. No, the payload went back a little bit there, but now they're coming forward. Big EMP. They have to follow it up with something, though. They just EMP. There's nothing.
The grab got thrown way in the back, and 2-odd
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, they completely missed the wide open opportunity there, and that was the play they've been looking for the entire time. And N7 is going to drop down and just slaughter the Knights. on the back of what should have been their game-winning play.
You're going to see a swap here to just a pure 3-3 by the Throne Knights, as the 2.5 minutes it took to build EMP can't be done again with only 1.5 minutes remaining. So going to go to a little bit more of a brawly, stable lineup, but I don't know if they can get pressure on this Bastion. They'd have to run way around here.
Or running way around seems to be exactly what they're doing with those ultimates, and not in their favor right now. That was a huge play there by Knights. They drop in. Killer Dogs eats the anti-nade. They're pushing forward. The contest will have to come in, though. Somebody's going to have to drop a payload. No one's dropping on the payload. It's going forward. There it is. Comes in finally. Coriander drops down, isolated from the rest of the team. Can they get the pick? Dragon's thrown in just to disrupt. 39 seconds left on the clock. Only one kill going in favor of the Throne here. Killer Dog still alive on the D.Va, looking for another one. Can't quite find it. Neither of the tanks can really get out, and that's a huge stagger with only 26 seconds left. They might just get one more fight out of it. Skate, that payload is so close.
Yeah, I thought for a second their proxy not shifting on that Bastion was going to end up costing, but the ult in hand made the difference for N7, and we might get one more push here as Fishface Gecko, the only ult online, that Earthshatter. So depending on where this shield's placed, this could be huge.
10 seconds to go. Fishface Gecko pushing in. 3 seconds. Somebody has to get in vicinity. He'll get there. Fishface Gecko is on the point. Rest of the Throne Knights behind them. Coriander now dropping down. D.Va Bomb throwing in. Hammer down right about now would be spectacular. They've already used it, though. They don't get anything off of it. The fighting continues. The kills need to start coming in for Throne if they're going to win this. And finally, Kaz goes down. Proxy returns the favor, though. The kill's not going the way of the Throne, and it might be a reversible hold here unless something amazing happens. Curtis still trying to fight it out. Hibachi dropping in, going full contestio. Point blank Dragons will seal the end of it. And N7 takes stage 1 Dorado with, or Route 66, I should say, with a very impressive reverse hold.
My word, that was quite a hold, a defensive shutout here almost by both teams, as we never got past Big Earls. But a nice hold after the gauntlet was thrown down by the Throne. N7 saying our defense can hold just as strong as your can.
I mean, ultimately, Skate, I think it all comes down to that tragic sort of misplay there with the EMP and the grab, the game-winning combo on deck, and just not utilized properly.
I can't disagree with that. Only getting the Ana in the back and then not capitalizing on even killing that Ana in the back.
Yeah, indeed. Well, they'll be winning that Graviton Surge back, indeed, Skate. But there you go. First map here in the series, ladies and gentlemen. Route 66 will go to N7. Neither team managing to make it past the first point, but a full hold by N7 to turn it around. We'll be right back to you with this next map and the rest of this Masters Tier final match and the console game. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Console Gaming League multi-tier tournament. I hope. I am Corvac, joined here by Skate Action in the production booth. Should I say I'm Corvac, joined by Skate Action on the color commentary with Sultan in the production booth. The two of you having S starting names is just too much for my brain to comprehend. On the backside of that map, you saw Route 66 there, where both teams actually got the full hold on the first point, but ultimately it was N7 who did the holding a little bit better. Now we're coming into Ilios, a classic, one of my favorite maps in the game. And Skate, based off the previous performance, I think you could probably reasonably guess what we might see here on most of these points.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot of 3-3 here. So anything other than that would be a shock to me. Although, is there any chance you think when Well comes out that we get to see the Torb that's been made oh so famous?
Well, you know, interestingly enough, I don't know if you saw this, Skate, but the comp that actually was doing the best was in EU Open Division was, let me see if I remember this. It was Orisa, Roadhog, May, Torbjorn, Anna, Zenyatta. And I think they went undefeated.
Wow.
And so a lot of people are talking about that in the scene, are talking about that comp as, is this the new like meta? Is this something that we're going to see very frequently? But obviously no Overwatch League's teams have had the opportunity to pick it up and play with it yet, or have tried picking it up and playing with it yet. But it is something that's been floating out there. So maybe one of these more enterprising minds on either of these teams will want to give it a go here. I do think obviously we see well Orisa is pretty much the default choice as far as tanks go on that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Of course, a lot of Ilios depends on what map we get first here. And we are not going to swap sides, so we will have the Throne in the blue and N7 in the red again. We are waiting on one player to do a quick reset. I think they were having a connection issue with the dropping in and out, so we're letting them get back in here really quick before we get rolling into this next map.
And unfortunately, going into these King of the Hill maps, we can't ever tell exactly which map will be first in the rotation, so it's a little bit hard for us to guess at team compositions. But as you said, the 3-3, I think, is probably going to be the winner here. Any players you think we should particularly look out for, Skate, going into this one?
Yeah, honestly, I think Coriander on that Zarya. Zarya is such a huge part of that 3-3 composition. So the Coriander-Kurta battle is one that I would definitely be watching. And then we'll have to see if Kaz can tone down the charges a little bit, because I think there was at least 2 different times where the charge came in and it ended up costing them on the attack on Route 66. So we'll have to see the tank battle.
Well, you know, the interesting thing is Kaz actually, I think on the defense, had swapped off of the main tank, playing the Roadhog there, and they were doing significant, no offense to Kaz, because he played very well in the Roadhog, but they were doing significantly better without relying on main tank. He was going down so early, and I did feel like a couple of the bubbles coming in from Coriander were just a little bit early there, and they were kind of getting punished. But I mean, you can't question the strength of the bunker, and they played it very well, especially when they got disparate. But I think the tale of Route 66, like we said before we went into the break there briefly, was that misplay by the Throne Knights. And I think if they had executed that Grav EMP combo, I mean, we'd be looking at them winning the first map. So you have to wonder, what do you think went wrong there?
I think it was just a miscommunication. Either that or the Grav was just flat missed. I'm not sure which it was. We'll... You know, depending on how this turns out, that's one that we can ask in the post game.
That's true.
But I think it was probably a miscommunication more than anything on where the placement of that was supposed to be. But the EMP was a good EMP. It got 4, I believe, by my count. So
it did, yeah.
The Grav just, for whatever reason, ended up way on that back little bridge platform that you can get to the top of Earls with if you're defending. So I'm not sure what exactly happened with that.
Well, sometimes you get the Grav, and sometimes the Grav gets you. Have we gotten confirmation? Particular,
yes, we just did. So we are going to.
Is back in.
Yes, they're back in. I'm just making sure that the other team captain is still ready, and we're going to go ahead and get this thing rolling.
Alrighty then. Well, looking forward to the start here on Ilios as we enter the game. By the looks of it.
Yep.
There's that distinctive music. It's all very Greek. Love it.
Yes, you know, this is our second Greek conversation. That the first one was off air, but it's coming up a lot lately in our conversations, apparently.
Indeed. That cruise ship that's been circling the island for nearly 3 years. So I wonder if they're
those poor folks.
I wonder if they're getting bored, to be honest, at this point in time. But
I don't know. It is a nice cruise ship. I will give it that.
It's a very nice looking cruise ship, I will admit. Looks like we'll be coming into well first, so I do think we probably can expect to see the Orisa compositions coming out on either side, what they choose to build around that with.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Interested to see what they come out with here. Looks like they will, in fact, both be going for Torbjorn's, at least initially. So there you go, Kate, your favorite Swedish engineer coming out to play. Whether those switches will come in, I don't know, but actually very similar, almost identical compositions. Actually, they are now mirror compositions by both teams coming into here to the well. So they know what they want to play. It's just who can execute this particular composition better.
This is going to be interesting. I have not actually seen these lineups, but Definti going to swap to the Mercy right away.
Okay, so they're not mirroring anymore. A little bit of hesitation there on the Lucio. Kurta going mid immediately. We'll lose the turret instantaneously. That was a little bit opportunistic. Did draw some fire there. Fishface Gecko rotating around, kind of looking for an opportunity to place the shield down. Meanwhile, on the other side, N7 happily bunkered up there in the back corner. The Torb turret will actually get constructed. Early point cap going in favor of N7, but now finally the Knights will move in and start towing the line here. Neither team really getting any distinct advantage. The shield war beginning. And again, Fishface Gecko sort of maintaining the winning edge there. Big hook! Toxic snipes into the pit. He messed up. He was half a second too out, and that's going to follow up an immediate kill on Sergi. And if the throne is wise, they'll fall back here. They're actually going to get the hook there on Kurta as well. Kurta will be burned down to the stagger on the Torbjorn, and that is unfortunate.
Yeah, the hog play going to come in big, you know, with that big hole in the middle. You got to watch out for that. So we'll have to see how the hog play works out. I mentioned the off-tank play may be important, and it's so important on well with the hogs.
Oh, Hot Snipes hooked again and dragged forward. A lot of damage will survive. Hibachi all over the healing there. And these hooks from Nebula have been absolutely deadly. Engaging down the main thoroughfare. Good pull above the shield to do just a little bit more chip damage. N7 now rotating back towards the point. We'll hold sort of a halfway house here on the point with the turret out now, trying to get in some damage. Goes down almost immediately. Baptiste ultimate coming out, but Kurta's hooked and brought in. Kurta will survive, but the Dragon's right up the alley. Bachi right in the middle of that uses the immortality field to survive, but not before two people down the well. Here comes the hog out over the back. Hibachi is rezzed into the fight. Hibachi returning the favor there, coming off the res, but they'll lose Kurta, and the fight is effectively over for the Knights. Sergi with the last sort of, I don't even know what you'd call that. Gets two, actually. Dark Empathy going forward, getting a little bit cheeky there, trying to get a pick. And now, looks like Proxy was going for the opportunity too, Skate.
Yeah, it almost ended up being a 3K. You got to be careful there if you're Proxy. I know that you feel like you have the advantage there, you know, just out dueling the Hanzo, but a pick there is too costly for your team and would actually probably cost you guys the next team fight.
Well, 81% now, so the clock ticking up here. They need to make something happen. They've just passed the magical 85% number no team wants to see when they're in this position. It's going to have to be perfect in terms of execution. Fishface Gecko hooked! He can't even get the jump off! He manages to get the bubble down, but he's getting pulled all over the place. He'll get burned almost. Kurta will follow him right into the grave. Toxic snipes down the well, gets the boost jets out, and N7 just holding the line. The beatdown bomb goes down here. Coriander panning across the point with the Gatling gun. There's absolutely nothing they can do. N7 looking spectacular, and Kaz Nebula with those hooks.
Yeah, Dark Empathy able to get a hammer kill. I do want to highlight that whenever there's a hammer kill on the stream, but the tank play, phenomenal there for N7, as Coriander was able just to hold the line, and Kaz able to hook anything and everything in sight that he wanted to.
Well, we come into the lighthouse here. Switches coming in across the board. A 2-2-2 coming out from the throne with Zergi and... Oh, no, Zergi switching over to the Forest, so a Pharmacy coming down with Kurta on the McCree. Meanwhile, on the other side, relatively similar. Dark Empathy popping over onto the Genji, so the Shimada Bros making their appearance, Skate, here on behalf of N7.
Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of Genji in a while, so maybe with some recent changes here, we can see a little bit more Genji. So I'm curious to see how Dark Empathy performs on said Genji.
Well, we'll see as they get initiated here. Zergy just chucked rock and just do a little bit of poke damage. Moving up is Dougie trying to contest the Pharmacy. A brave Lucio there. Nebula the first to touch the point back on that Reinhardt, but they've split the team here quite effectively. Can they take advantage of it? And they can. They 2 picks come in. It's Nebula and 2 odds, so huge. Kurta will go down, and Fishface Gecko, so they've traded back and forth here. But it's Proxy and Dougie who are on point, and one of those is a May. Proxy just holding the back corner, not coming out. Coriander was in a dangerous position there, but they don't punish. Now Sergey actually drops in on the point, trying to put in some point-blank damage. It won't happen, and the Throne's so spread out, Skate. They're getting absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, Coriander putting in work on that Zarya, getting 3 of the 4 kills there that secured the point. Got in a weird spot, as you said, but the Pharah of Zergy just couldn't find where Coriander was set up, as that little pillar in the middle was just enough cover that allowed him to sneak back onto the point.
Kurta going down early again. That'll force the res out almost immediately from Tefenti. Still not getting the value out of this Pharmacy they really want to see here. Kurta can't get a pick either at this range. Fishface Gecko trying to get his team forward. Meanwhile, on the other side, Dark Empathy has switched over to the Widowmaker. It's very solid point control here with a May waiting to wall them off. That's Proxy. Dark Empathy goes down, though, so an initial pick here, but Proxy waiting for the wall. No, throws the Blizzard in. He'll just zone out the point. They'll have to break off almost immediately. Which way is Coriander popping off on the Zarya? The kills coming back and forth. High Noon coming out, just trying to zone a little bit here, looking for anything. Really clear trading both sides, but the grab. Oh, it's a Sturgy with the barrage on the backside to clear out the attack on the grab. Well played.
Oh my, that was a fight that was all over the place. You had a zoning Deadeye and then a late barrage to steal the point. It looked like it was all thrown, and then all of a sudden Shatter comes in by Kaz, swings the fight for a second, and then right on top, right on cue, Zergy with that barrage to secure.
Hammerdown comes in, gets no one. Kurta already out of this fight, got a little taste of the Viking crew cut. Here comes the Nano into the midst of Nebula winging away like Bambito itself. Looking for an early pick, will get 2, but Sergey on the outside gets the Ana, and that's huge. That being said, N7 cleaning up here. Toxic Snipes on the Zarya, trying to hold out, getting bounced around. A terrible Earth Shatter, unfortunately, coming out of Kaz Nebula, but Toxic Snipes will go down. Now Zergy will have to be in full retreat. And Kurta trying to escape won't make it either, so Proxy there just making sure nobody can get back and touch that point.
Yeah, it's final fight time here for the Throne as we head into this last little bit, and ult's gonna be big as 2 support ults online for the Throne. We'll have to see if that grab by Toxic Snipes can get online to make the difference, as there's only the beat drop on the side of N7.
Well, here they come again. Connor at 97%. They're trying to push on Hibachi down. Dougie, sound barrier coming in. There's nothing to back on it. They might get a grab off here. They do get a grab, but they're not really able to follow it up. There's nobody in position to do damage. Kurta dies again early on, and it's a secure point here for all intensive purposes for N7. High Noon coming out, not going to get anyone. Hibachi can't touch, and N7 cleans up on Ilios.
That was an impressive performance by N7. The tank play was just tremendous throughout both maps. Able to just win that front line, and the Throne just didn't have an answer there.
They certainly did not. Well, on the back of some impressive tank play, they will take their second map here. So N7 going up 2-0 over the Throne Knights in the Masters Tier Finals here in the Console Gaming League multi-tier tournament. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Console Gaming League multi-tier tournament. Masters tier final between N7 and Throne Knights. N7 taking a commanding lead here in this best of 5 series, going up 2-0 after an impressive performance on Route 66 and Ilios. Now moving into our third map, which will be Hanamura. I'm Korbeck, joined by Skate Action on the color commentary and Sultan in the production booth. Skate, what do you make of that Ilios run? N7 looking absolutely dominant here going into Hanamura.
Yeah, I was actually kind of surprised as closely contested as Route 66 was. It really felt like Ilios just kind of went the other direction, and N7 decided to flex their muscles, as I think the Throne Knights only won one team fight throughout both points there on Ilios. So they need to do some soul searching here, I think. Maybe a quick timeout here and get themselves figured out and get things all balanced and be ready to try and set themselves up for a reverse sweep, because that's what it's going to take at this point. Circle
the proverbial wagons, as it were. You got the feeling, too, it just didn't go well for them from the very beginning, Skate. I mean, the first play was Toxic Knives getting dragged into the well by his opposite number, that was Kaz Nebula, on that Roadhog, and those hooks. And grabs, actually, their environmental control coming out of N7 was just spectacular the entire time.
Yeah, we got to see a little DPS play. I was kind of glad. Going into it, I thought we were going to see a ton of 3-3, and I'm glad that we didn't. And we got to see some of the DPS shine. We got to see a little bit of McCree, a little Widow, a lot of Pharah. So playing the gambit of characters, as it were, is only a couple characters I think have not been picked yet.
Indeed. Well, our next map here will be Hanamura. Sides will be swapped. So N7 going over to, I think, start on the defense. Throne Knights with the initial attack. Hanamura Skate, an interesting map. Probably actually my favorite map in the entire game of Overwatch. It's very pretty. All those beach blossoms, or cherry blossoms? Cherry blossoms.
Cherry blossoms, I think.
Cherry blossoms, yeah, indeed. But a difficult map for a lot of teams, just because it does require a certain amount of synergy. That early choke point can be so devastating, and it does have great snowball potential.
Yes, great snowball potential, even though there's no snow on the ground. I will have everybody know.
Not until winter.
Not until winter.
It's got a winter skin. So
It does have a winter skin. I wish we could just turn that on so that the snowball would be appropriate.
It's such a pretty skin.
It really is. It really is. I really love the holiday skins that we see from the Overwatch team. So hopefully we'll get more of those in the future.
The King's Row one is spectacular. But anyway, here they are coming into Hanamura. Neither teams, I think, has really shied away from Rissa on defense, so it wouldn't surprise me, I think, Skate, if we saw that coming out as well. Though in general, in those Orisa matches, things have not been going the way of the Throne. N7 really with the commanding performance in the tank line.
Yeah, we saw Coriander make that swap. So in the Orisa compositions, he's actually playing the Orisa, but in the Rhine compositions, he's going to play the Zarya, which is interesting because we saw his card at the lead up of this broadcast, and Orisa not listed, so I don't know if that's something that they planned in practice or if it was a spur-of-the-moment swap that just kind of worked. You've played enough of these matches as well as I have to know that sometimes you just change things on the fly, and if it works, you stick with it.
Yes, just those impetuous swaps, right? Just flying on intuition and nothing else.
You've got somebody saying, yeah, I can do it. Okay, yeah, well, we're doing it now.
That's how winning is done, really. You just,
Absolutely. Those are the decisions that actually can win you games and make the difference.
Looked like a little bit of hesitation there coming out of the spawn. Coriander coming out on the Zarya, so a triple tank composition built around the Bastion. Not something I'd say is super common, Skate. That's an interesting one. That's a new one for me.
Yeah, I'm not used to seeing this either, but I will say that for the folks at home, we did swap sides, so we're going to have N7 in the blue and the Throne Knights in the red here, so the Throne Knights will be attacking first.
Meanwhile, the triple DPS ball on the other side already running through, and Fish-Face Gecko on that Hammond, giving Bastion a lot of targets to shoot at here. Some early poke damage coming in from the Pharah, but I don't think they're feeling particularly fussed. Dark Empathy does take some damage, though. We'll be forced to back up, and now the back cap coming in from the Sombra. Somebody's going to have to drop down and contest it. Both Coriander and Kaz go back there. Fish-Face Gecko on the rolling poly-oly ball in the back line, just causing a distraction. Ooh. And there's a big pick on Fatty Jerp. He goes down, so they lose the Zenyatta early. Dark Empathy rotating back. Hats in Oh no, Bastion goes down as well. Great combination of DPS there. Too odd falling. Kaz trying to turn the tide, but it's too little, too late. Coriander and Kaz, the only ones really still holding on to either of them in any position to contest right now. They will drop someone onto the point. Kaz comes in just to hold off, maybe buy time for his team to come back, but it makes no difference. Kurta over the top of the Pharah just shreds them. Well executed by the Throne.
Yeah, wagons have been circled for those keeping track at home, as you had Killer Dogs there on the Sombra get into the back line, force the retreat, then come back up behind and pick off the Zenyatta to start that. Gets the hack on Bastion, gets the kill then on the Bastion. It was just perfectly orchestrated by the Throne. They knew exactly what they wanted to do, and the execution was spot on.
So the Bastion has been abandoned here. Good solid 6.5 minutes in the time bag, but Dark Empathy playing the Widowmaker now. I see a Sombra in the back line. Killer Dog nearly at the EMP. Killer Dogs has to drop out though. Discorded in a lot of danger. Fatty Derp with a good responses there. The push coming up the choke, but Dark Empathy goes down to the Sombra early on. Fishface Gecko overextends and will get burned out. The kills going back and forth fast and furious here. Amor popped the Valkyrie there, but can't really get anyone. Killer Dogs fighting it out on the point with a little bit of pressure from 2odd. Immortality field down. Killer Dogs forced to teleport out. Amor will run for the fences, won't make it as Dark Empathy just wipes the deck there on the Widowmaker.
Dark Empathy gets hot at the right time and able to stop that push, as it looked like early on it was a 5v4 there in the favor of the Throne, and that's enough to swing it, but getting the picks and getting it evened up in a spot where you could actually force the hold because you do have that spawn advantage.
Well, EMP and the Dragon sitting online here. Wow, 2odd has his amplification matrix, can be so deadly in this corridor. Dragons initiates just to clear the high ground. They get Fatty Derp. He can't get back into the immortality field. The Zenyatta's still here. There's the amplification matrix down. Coriander more than happy to pump damage through it. 2odd backing them up there. Killer Dogs is wiped out on the low ground, but they have held on to that EMP. Dark Empathy pops infrared as well. Buzz the Savage just burning them down. There comes the Hammond on the outside just to put on pressure. And the Throne will grudgingly fall back. Hibachi caught peeking. Dark Empathy knows absolutely no mercy, and they're going to push out here and just kill them where they stand. The massacre in the alley here. Fishface Gecko trying to escape and just get out. Provides a way for Amor to get back to the rest of the team. Kurta will go down to a big stagger there. Skate.
Oh yeah, sloppy disengage there by the Knights. Not the way they wanted that to happen. But nonetheless, it is what it is. They do have a bit of an ult advantage for a moment until Buzz the Savage's mines will come online as I speak. So a lot of ults coming up here. I expect to see most of them probably popped, as both of these teams are itching to win this next team fight.
Oh, it's a lot of ultimates indeed. An ult fiesta in the offing here as Fishface Gecko comes forward. Chucks in the Fire Strike, nothing really coming of it. Nebula on the outside now. Oh, big pick on Dark Empathy. Started off. Been such a huge source of damage. EMP coming in on the backside is big. There's 4. They have to follow up. They have to get a kill out of it, though. They will. Fatty Derp goes down. Coriander in a lot of danger as well. Hammer down. Solos Coriander. 2odd dropping into the immortality field, trying to survive. Here comes the minefield. Transcendence over the top. So many ultimates coming in. It's hard to keep track of what's going on. Grab comes out. On the other side, Kurta there looking for a kill. Fatty Derp has to pop the Transcendence to stay alive, but Dark Empathy is turning the tide on the Widowmaker.
Oh my!
Buzz the Savage there to clean up as well.
No ticks.
Save it.
No ticks for the Throne there. I thought that was the Throne's fight, the way those, after the massive EMP, getting the picks. I don't know how they didn't even manage to get a tick there. I know a little bit of it, a tip of the cap to 2odd there with the well-timed immortality field and able to stay alive enough to get his tanks back onto the map. So wow, it feels like the Throne just kind of threw everything at it and we're all in on that push, and it didn't pay off.
Well, only damage bongos here still. Kaz Nebula alone on the outside here from the Knights. They have to try and recommit somewhere else. Here they come. There's the beatdown bongos out. Fishface Gecko pushes forward into it, but the loose Hibachi early on. Dark Empathy getting in on the action as well, largely uncontested on this Widowmaker. Fishface Gecko separated and murdered. Mines went in there, but maybe a little bit unnecessary at the end. Skaters, let's just clean up.
Yeah, it definitely seemed unnecessary. I think they thought that the Throne was going to keep on pushing there, but when they got separated, they disengaged fairly early after that pick, and we're going to see Hibachi actually swap over to the Ana to see if they can't counter some of that sustain that it seems like N7 is utilizing very, very well right now, as 2Odd is doing a fantastic job on that Baptiste and really making the difference.
You kind of get the feeling here, Skate, that N7 may have survived the worst of the storm, but they'll come forward now. An early engage from Buzz, just trying to be disruptive there. 2Odd and Coriander on the low ground taking some pressure, but the Immortality Foams comes out. Here's the... Oh, big hammer!
That's big. That's big.
Somehow Coriander survives most of it, but will eventually go down. The kill feed lights up red. Red for danger if you're N7. Backed in the corner is the Hog trying to survive. They'll kill Fatty Derp around him. Toxic Snipe has himself a Roadhog pinned in the corner. Drops in. Buzz the Savage trying to contest 2 huge ticks. Minefield down as well. Actually doing a lot of damage there with the initial Minefield. Sound Barrier will come in just to keep the team up. Coriander under pressure on the Orisa will go down. Transcendence comes out. Bomb in the midst of it all gets one. Dark Apathy the best to contest there on the Tracer, gets burned down. 2Odd won't survive very long either. It's just Kaz Nebula with the desperation plays on the main, knocked out, no one to touch, and finally the Throne Knights will take after knocking on the door, Skate, for quite a long time.
Yeah, Corbett, congratulations on the Caster's Curse there. That was well timed.
I know.
Seemed like that was their best punch, and then apparently the next to best punch is better than the best punch by the Throne. But my word, that was quite a fight, and I think that was something that the Throne needed to do. They kind of went to the well too many times on contesting that lineup just right in their face on the high ground, and decided to go low ground and try to take some of the sight lines away and split the team, and that's what ended up paying off.
Yes, the Caster Curse was for real there, Skate, wasn't it? But I mean, I think it's fair. I do think I got to survive the worst of it, but a really good shatter there on the outside edge by Fishface Gecko, and then just the follow-up, finally, what they needed the entire time, actually came through.
Yeah, it wasn't even like a big shatter. It was just a good shatter because he got the right targets and the ones you needed to kill there in order to secure that team fight.
Yeah, I mean, so much, I think, healing resources, too, was being pumped into Coriander there to just try and keep that Orisa up following that shatter, that maybe the healing wasn't as even distributed as they would have liked. Meanwhile, now looks like they're setting up, and it will be a bunker composition coming out from the defenders. Symmetra's on both sides, actually, strangely enough.
Oh, man. Have we seen every character now? Those keeping track at home?
We're getting there.
Those at home on your bingo sheet, let us know if you've checked all the boxes.
Everybody got those, right? We sent those out.
Yeah, we sent those out. If you didn't get it, let us know. We'll send you another one.
Uh-oh. Hey, we get started here. The dueling Symmetras. If you had told us like a year ago, never believed you. Kaz Nebula stepping up into the choke immediately. They see the Bastion. That's all they really need to see to put that teleporter down, and they will teleport around the outside edge, so they're trying to force the fight to point here. They actually go up to the high ground, minimizing those Bastion sightlines as best they can. Another teleporter there to get them across the gap.
Interesting rotations here.
Decent rotations indeed. They're in a decent position here if they want to push on, but a good job of rotating as well from the Knights, getting that Bastion in a good position, trading Symmetra turrets as the two teams seem more than happy to just stare at each other at the moment. Kaz Nebula coming out. Now that's a rotation and a half around the top edge. I don't think they see it coming.
Oh my!
Oh, they don't. It's a complete ambush. The anti-nade comes right in on the Bastion. Immortality field will go down, trying to keep them alive.
Huge immortality.
Complete chaos. They'll back into a corner here. Killer Dogs has to get kills and live up to the name if the team want to keep fighting. Fatty Derp with the good boop there, but Killer Dogs is in position, finally getting it in. Huge anti-nade coming out, though. Will force the rotation again. The kill feed going mostly blue. They just didn't get the damage they needed. Killer Dogs still alive, still trying to make a fight of this.
Oh, that's an accidental pause.
And no, it was a totally intentional pause. Don't worry, the fight's still going. It's too exciting. Overwatch can't handle it. Another anti-nade. Will somehow still survive. A more attached to Killer Dogs at the hip. Fishface Gecko is back now. Hammer down comes in. A more caught in that. Will be burned down almost immediately. And Kaz with a huge charge to clear the point. Toxic Snipes coming to drop back in now and just clear things up a bit. Kurta the only one left alive. Hibachi now might get a chance to touch. The Immortality Field does come down. That's a good delay there for as long as it lasts. And Kaz Nebula on this Reinhardt looking to prove us wrong, getting so many kills there at the end.
Oh yeah, Kaz coming up big when his team needed it. Put him on your back, big fella. You're a big tank. Gets the 2 with the charge. You don't see that very often where you get multiple kills with the charge, but everybody was down. And a tip of the cap to Killer and Amor for sustaining that point by themselves for so long and almost holding on there for Throne. But a big defense needs to be held for the Throne if they're going to want to hold this map out right here.
Symmetra wall coming out, counter Symmetra wall. Side, sees your resistance, there comes the damage. Well, here, Diva Bomb over the back line. I don't know if there's... Oh! And as well! And Killer Dogs up on the high ground there just cleans the point in the back of that Diva Bomb.
Well,
2
that's an interesting setup.
Sleeps Kurt on the high ground, 2-on trying to escape. Amor says no. No.
It looks like a swap's gonna come in.
They'll get the tick though here, Skate. They do get the tick out of this.
They definitely get the tick, so that is big with 5 minutes to go, so it's still a long time. Gonna go ahead and swap, even though ult was in hand. Interesting. Killer did have the tank mode there. Gonna swap to the Diva.
Well, they're using the teleporter here to get up to the high ground. No one to plant, really. They're more than happy to just spam shim shots across. Kurta drops down to contest. The rest of the team will come in. Fatty Derp looking for a good opportunity. A big sleep on Killer Dogs, though, there on members of the team here into the pit. Fishface Gecko trying to get back onto the point. The Zenyatta under a lot of pressure. Hibachi will go down. Fishface Gecko just swinging for the fences, trying to clear out, is hooked away. Down barrier coming out here for N7. This could be huge. Kaz definitely gets the nano as well, so fully empowered. Going to town here, and somebody's got to drop on. Kurto, the only one in position, and they'll clean the deck.
Yeah, with a big time bank left nonetheless. So the Throne only going to have a minute here to try and get something out of it. They're going to have to go to that well one more time. 4:15 for N7.
Well, let's hope the well's pretty deep, because this is a rough situation for the Throne. They are fighting for their lives here, Skate. If they lose this one, it's curtains. And N7 triumphantly taking their spot in the finals. All they have to do is hold the defense for 1 minute and then just push through an easy attack.
Yeah, and don't forget, everybody, this is the Masters tier NA Xbox final. These two teams competing for $500. That's real money. For those at home that are wondering, that is absolute real money. $500.
$500
for console Overwatch. Can you believe it? Look how far we've come.
How far we've come indeed, Skate. Looks like the setup here going to be relatively sort of a variation on Goats coming out from the one side, with the Brigida being replaced with 2-odd on the Ana. Meanwhile, on the other side, oh no, Dark Empathy actually going to switch over to the Ashe there. So a 1-2-3 by the looks of it. Meanwhile, on the other side,
yeah, we'll call it that.
Just sort of a 2-1, the same sort of thing, to be honest. It's 3 supports, 2 tanks, and Toxic Snipes on the Symmetra of all things.
Yeah, it's like
point.
Yeah, it's like an Ana Goats that's going to duel a little bit with the Symmetra teleport. So,
well, Fishface Gecko doesn't really want to hesitate there, but has to. They already used the Zarya bubble. As picking the Fire Strike on the backline, there's the Symmetra top. Oh no, Kurt has gotten separated. He's fallen. Knights have to readjust to keep their Zarya alive. That's incredibly costly. It might cost them a second bite at the apple here. They're coming on to the point where the rotation is in.
They're all in on this push.
Gets dynamited there, so a lot of dynamite damage coming in as well. Hibachi going down first. Huge shatter goes in. No real luck there, but a lot of damage coming the way of Fishface Gecko as Killer Dogs goes down now. And it looks like curtains for the Knights here, unless something absolutely miraculous happens. Amor trying to contest, won't make it. There's no one to zone. Oh no.
I thought Snipes was going to get there, and I really thought Snipes was on point. Not that it probably would have mattered there. Oh my, that's a big hold, full hold for the N7 defense. Now, interesting to note, this is not over. If the Throne can figure out a way to hold for 4 minutes and 15 seconds, they are still alive.
Whoa.
This is a 1st to 3.
Well, It's a nightmare scenario here for the Knights. Skate.
Yes, it is dormy, as if I may introduce a golf term. This is all you've got. You have to tie here.
It is not a great day out there for the Throne, but it's desperation time now, and maybe with their backs against the wall, they can make something happen. Dark Empathy coming in on the Doomfist by the looks of it. Meanwhile, on the other side, the same bunker they ran on the attack, and I will admit, minus the Symmetra, but I will admit their bunker was going very well, actually, Skate, until they kind of got outsmarted a little bit by the Symmetra teleport.
Yeah, the rotation got them, so this is a situation where the Throne, you can't get too down on yourself. This is a mental reset, because 4:15 on the clock is the same as trying to full hold on the initial attack. So the time bank is essentially the same. You just got to do a full hold.
And you know, all credit to N7. They played that beautifully. That Symmetra teleporter, actually really creative and smart. Really took advantage of the blind spot there. And N7, I think, are going to close this one out, Skate. I don't know, but here they come. So let's see what they can make of it. They're really going for an anti-bunker composition just to start. Buzz the Savage immediately dropping to point. Oh, but they'll lose Buzz almost immediately, and that's not particularly great. Dark Empathy here managed to get
a great spot.
Dark Empathy will come out of the point to duel with Kurta now, but Dark Empathy immediately has to back off there. Nobody really from his team can support him in the position he's in, so he'll have to rotate all the way around on the high ground.
Yeah, he's on an island.
N7 doesn't want to step into that machine gun fire, and rightly so, but here they win. Rain starts to let up just a little bit. Kaz Nebula taking a ton of damage there. The slow rotation working out fine. Kurta now coming in. Coriander goes down. Dark Empathy trying to set up a pick here on the Diva. Won't quite succeed. A fight on the point, but ultimately does not work out in favor of N7, and they're back to the drawing board, but really, Skate, not that much time burned off the clock.
No, just over 60 seconds. Kurta doing a great job on that Diva of being the contest, knowing the situation there and that he was supposed to touch, able to get the touch. Killer Dogs cleaning up the mess. I will say, though, Dark Empathy on that Doomfist kind of got in a bad spot, and it really wasn't ever in that fight.
No, indeed, but the bunker's still holding on. Toxic now in a good position with trying damage in. They'll use the Sim teleporter they used to such effect last time. It's Coriander on the Symmetra. There's another teleporter, get him across the open space. Again, they want to drag this fight to point. They're actually up on that walkway again. We've seen this movie before.
Yeah, it looks like the Throne gonna set up a little differently and set up just off a point here to try and prevent that rotation.
Has to toe the line, but Kaz Nebula going down early.
That's a big dragon.
There, lots of kills coming in for the Throne. Tank mode.
Huge hook.
Oh, Buzz the Savage tries for it, but they do cancel Bastion tank. Tuad will jump over the edge, and now they might be forced to get Killer Dogs off that Bastion. I don't know if he's going to be able to get back in time to reset.
This will be interesting. I wonder if that was maybe the thought process there. Just get the quick reset here as Buzz hooks, jumps off the ledge. What a big brain play if this works out.
Indeed, big brain indeed. They still have not got the Bastion back yet. Killer Dog's actually coming back on the Sombra. Nano boost coming in on Kaz. Damage amplification matrix in the back. Get hacked, and it looks like N7's clearing the deck here. Bomb thrown in. Oh, it's Coriander. I don't think it's going to be enough. Oh! They're clearing the deck. There are only two members of the Throne still fighting. Kurta is pinned in the corner. Kurta's still alive, but will get burned down. Hanzo over the backside. There's no one left to contest, and N7 have done it. On a clean 3-0, N7 will win the Masters Tier Finals for the Console Gaming League Multi-Tier Tournament.
Oh my, what a performance by N7. Just, it felt like they were in control up and down throughout this entire match. Don't want to discredit the Throne, though. They had a great season. But like we said, N7 was able to get it done in the regular season and then backs it up again with a 3-0 here in the championship.
Well, N7 indeed coming out with the win there, Skate, on the back of a 3-0, ending up Hanamura with the win. We'll be back with one final sort of post-game interview here in just a few minutes after this break. apart. Now Coriander in serious danger, getting grouped around, manages to come back. Lucio playing very far forward. That's Dougie. And the kills again, flying in fast and furious. 2-odd going down, though. Dark Empathy still here, alive in the back. Fishface, Gecko, and a lot of danger. Somehow they turn it around. Nebula goes down. The sound barrier comes in just to keep, I think, Reinhardt up, and they'll push forward. Fishface, Gecko swinging for the faces there, just clearing the deck. The kills coming back and forth. I knew coming out, just trying to zone a little bit here, looking for anything. Really clear trading both sides, but the grab. Oh, it's a Sturgy with the barrage on the backside to clear. Field sound barrier will come in just to keep the team up. Coriander under pressure on the Orisa will go down. Transcendence comes out. The bomb in the midst of it all gets one. Dark Empathy the best to contest there. Push the anti-nade comes right in on the Bastion. Immortality field will go down, trying to keep him alive. Huge immortality. Complete chaos. So back into a corner here. Killer Dogs has to get kills and live up to the name of the team want to keep fighting.
Hold this map out right here.
Symmetra wall coming out. Counter Symmetra wall. Side. Cease resistance. There comes the damage. Well, here. Diva Bomb over the back line. I don't know if there's... Oh! And as well, but will get burned down. Hanzo over the backside. There's no one left to contest it. N7 have done it. On a clean 3-0, N7 will win the Masters Tier Finals for the Console Gaming League Multi-Tier Tournament. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Console Gaming League Multi-Tier Tournament. I'm Corbeck, joined here by Skate Action with Zoltan on production, and you just watched the conclusion there of the Masters Tier Final for NA Xbox, with N7 taking the 3-0 over the Throne Knights to secure their place as the finalist for this season. And win that $500 prize. Skate, I think we're waiting to get someone in here for an interview from N7 so they can talk about the game from their perspective, which I'm sure will be interesting. But do you have any sort of final thoughts here for the audience?
Yeah, I think it's been a great season up and down, and we saw a little bit of the gamut of compositions, and it was kind of a nice bookend to the season that we saw the 3-3, we saw a little 2-2-2, we saw a bunker, we saw some of the 3 DPS, we saw a little bit of everything, and I think we saw just about every character come into play. I don't know if we did see an Ashe, we saw a Doomfist on that last map, so we might have seen every single character played in a match. And for a 3-0, that's pretty impressive, because in 3 maps to get all of the characters in is a task.
Indeed. Well, we saw, I think we saw most. Did we ever see Soldier? I feel like we never saw Soldier 7.
Did we? Okay, so Soldier might be
the only one who didn't get, which is a crying shame, to be honest, but that is how it be. But yeah, no, a very solid, well-played game from N7. You could tell that their heads were in the right space, and maybe a little bit, I would say, Kate, of a shocker for the Knights there. I don't think they expected that 3-0.
No, I don't think they did, and you gotta wonder if what happened on Route 66 kind of set the stage for them. You don't know because we weren't obviously in their parties and we don't know the comms, but it seemed like as soon as we had that weird EMP grab combo that didn't quite hit the mark, nothing really seemed to be firing on all cylinders for the Throne. And maybe it just wasn't their night. Who knows? It's hard to tell at this point, but we are still trying to get a member of N7 in here for an interview to kind of get their perspective on it and hopefully kind of how they felt about the season in general.
Wasn't their night. Anyway. Okay. For those of you, worth pointing out that immediately after this game, actually, you are going to have the opportunity to see Culture Esports versus Nobody. That will be our PS4 Diamond Tier Finals, brought to you by Sultan, Headrammer, and Optimus, and that will be on this channel as soon as we're wrapped up with this broadcast. Plenty more playoff action coming your way tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern. You can see Pro Legion Gaming versus Velocity X in the Grandmasters Tier Final for PS4 with Swift, Sultan, and Mazza. And then on Friday, Panthera Tigris versus Silhouette Esports coming to you at 1:30 p.m. Eastern. So early morning there. I believe that's Diamond Tier and EU with Swift, Sarge, and Brinolad. And more games going into this weekend as well. Sunday and Saturday in particular, Skate, I think is a very decent backup there of playoff games for you to come in and watch here as the this season of the multi-tier tournament wraps up in fine style. Going back to the match here, still waiting on the N7 player to get in, which is a bit unfortunate. That's okay. Going back to the match here, I think one of the things that we should probably note is just how well N7's tank line recovered from what was initially kind of a rough showing there on Route 66. There was a lot of kind of getting thrown around, especially by the Reinhardt.
Yeah,
and they really built back up, and in the end, he was swinging away with a vengeance. He was making the huge plays.
Yeah, and they talk about it in, basketball. Sometimes you just got to see the ball go in the hoop. And I think that's kind of what needed to happen. As Kaz, once it started to roll, he was playing like a man possessed and he was owning that front line. And then Coriander obviously making the swap over to the Orisa at times. So that 1-2 combination of N7 was definitely fun to watch, making plays all over the map.
Indeed. And I mean, both these teams coming in, they had great respect their sides. I think my favorite part of the entire match, Skate, would honestly have been that Symmetra v Symmetra duel. That was really something. It's just, Symmetra used to be a character so out in left field. I mean, she still kind of is, but it was fascinating to see that play out. And admittedly, N7 played that to perfection. That strat where they teleported up onto that boardwalk and came around, that was so perfectly executed. It's probably one of the most creative plays I've seen in sort of amateur or pro Overwatch in quite some time. That was so well done.
Yeah, I was taken aback by that. You could hear the surprise in my voice when it happened. I wonder if that was something that they had pre-planned. If we can get the interview in here, we're going to ask if that's something that they had in mind, or if that was just last second. Hey, we're going to try and go up here instead. And who made that call for that brilliant play to rotate around? Because that is what really won them the time bank.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, that was a spectacular play, and it kind of put the nail in Throne's coffin there. But the Throne, I think, they played a very good game. They played a good match, or they played a very good season. It was a rough game for them, but they did well in the playoffs to get this far. So, props to them. But in the end, yeah, N7, I think, just looking pretty dominant.
Yeah, I have to agree. And, tip of the cap to my buddy Coriander. That I played with at South by Southwest. The dude's just a winner, apparently. When the chips are on the line, he's the one to show up and make some big plays. So tip of the cap to him. But yeah, like you said, the Throne, awesome season. People that on that team that you and I know very well. K9 is a heck of a person, and congratulations to them for making the championship game.
Indeed. Well, we're still waiting here on the confirmation of exactly. Unfortunately, okay. I don't know that we're going to be able to get a member of N7 in here for which is a real shame. But regardless, this has been your multi-tier tournament and a Masters tier Xbox final, with N7 taking the 3-0 victory over the Throne Knights. I have been Korbeck, joined by Skate Action and Sultan in the production. We'll be right back on this channel actually in just a few minutes with our diamond tier final for PS4. So don't go anywhere. Promises to be a very exciting matchup. And always, thank you for tuning in.